که به زمان انگلیسی هم خواهد بود، میخوایم در رابطه با دسترسی به سرمایه برای استارتاپ ها به خصوص در استیج سید و در استیج های اولیه صحبت بکنیم. همونطور که میدونید بحث تامین سرمایه برای استارتاپ ها به خصوص در مقاطع اولیه که معمولا توسط شبکه‌های فرشتگان سرمایه‌گذار یا همون انجل اینوستور انجام میشه، اهمیت بسیار بالایی در توسعه اون فضای کارآفرینی داره. ما تقریبا 3 ماه پیش بود که یک رویدادی رو برگزار کردیم به نام انجل لبز که یک رویداد بین‌المللی بود در رابطه با تقویت و شکل‌گیری شبکه‌های سرمایه‌گذاری مخصوصا فرشتگان سرمایه‌گذار. مباحث بسیار مناسبی اونجا بحث شدش که روی وبلاگ آواتک هم اتفاقا در موردش خیلی نوشتیم. نکته کلیدی که من خودم شخصا خیلی بهش علاقه داشتم که در واقع فسیلیتیتور یا اون تسهیلگر داشت بهش اشاره می‌کرد این بود که استارتاپ هایی که کمپانی‌های بسیار بزرگی الان تو دنیا هستن مثل گروپان، مثل گوگل، مثل حتی استارباکس، تمام اینها در گام‌های اولیه یک فرشته کسب و کار و یک انجلی بوده که اعتقاد پیدا کرده به اون تیم و در واقع تامین اولیه رو براشون انجام داده. چیزی که خودش میگفت همیشه یه چک اولی هستش که به این کمپانی‌ها رفته. و تصور بکنید دنیایی که توش گوگل نبود، توش استارباکس نبود و این کمپانی‌ها شکل نمی‌گرفتن. و اینجا نشون میده که اهمیت تامین سرمایه و دسترسی به سرمایه چقدر زیاد هستش. For this panel, we would like to invite a few guests. Summer, he was one of the speakers who is also the founder of Seeqnce, Accelerator in Lebanon. Summer, if you can come on the stage, please. Please give him a round of applause. The second person we're going to have is Mr. Zamani, who's the Managing Director of Kardan Investment Bank. And the third person is Rahmani, who is also the speaker, the Managing Director of SaravaPars. Thanks for being on the panel. We're going to start with Summer, and we would like to hear about your experience. I think Lebanon is also a very emerging market when it comes to startups, especially technology startups. Could you tell us more about how do you see the scene of angel investment evolving in Lebanon in the past maybe couple of years? And can you share some stories of how have you been dealing with angel investors in that region?
Okay, so this is a story for anyone here who's a high net worth individual who's looking to invest. Maybe we will get some guidance from our experiences. When angels started investing in startups in around 2010, 2011, their expectation was, I want to know how much money I'm going to be making from this startup, and I want to know in quarterly financial reports, and I want to know in 3-year projections, and I want it down to the dollar and cent, and why did you buy that computer and not that computer, and why that chair, and why are you paying rent here, not there? And it was very interesting because part of the angel investing experience is 99% of it is managing the expectation of the angel that's putting in the money. So when I first created Seeqnce, we needed to get angels to invest in Seeqnce so that Seeqnce would then invest in the startups. And we went around and we told them, we expect to create some returns and this might create some money for you down the line. And we were very optimistic and they got excited. They weren't really expecting to make much money, but there was an expectation of return that we actually modeled. And 6 months down the line, after the Accelerator program was over, a lot of them started asking, when are we going to start making our money back? And some of them still do. And on paper, a lot of them made money, but that doesn't make it actual money, it's not in the pocket. So the second, and for that one time, we raised around $500,000 investors in roughly 4 months, 5 months. The second time we went around to raise money for angels, from angels, it was very interesting because the first thing I said to them was, you're not going to see your money ever again. Okay. Like, you're going to give me $100,000 and you're not going to see it. And it was funny because when I said that, I got a much better response than the first time. Because I was just telling them, listen, I'm a nice guy. I am not going to go to Brazil with the money, okay? So just give me the money, and maybe it's the interest on the interest on the interest on the payments on your car, okay? So you're not even going to notice that the money has left your bank account. Give it to me, and I will put all the effort I can in making this startup successful. If it's successful, you may get 15x returns. If it's not, I will make sure you won't even notice that we took your money. Okay. And within 3 months, we were able to raise $700,000. Now, that doesn't make me good at fundraising, it just makes me very honest. And I think that's the message that we need to get across to angels. You're not here to make money off of these young entrepreneurs because honestly, there's a very good chance that none of them are going to succeed. And you're not here to try to find that one that you think is going to be the right. No, you're here because there's an opportunity. And the opportunity is in the youth, is in the country, is in moving the ecosystem and the industry forward, and hopefully building a knowledge economy that's only dependent on people. It's not dependent on resources, not on infrastructure, not on anything. That is what you're investing in. And if you start investing early, you're going to be the one that people are going to come to when the ecosystem is good enough for a billion-dollar company. You're investing in your potential to invest in the future in the good deals. So when people come and ask me, where can we find that billion-dollar company? My answer is invest in 100, and chances are you're going to have invested in that billion-dollar company along the way. But you're going to have to fail 99% of your investments to find that one. So for all the angels here, if you're ready to invest in 100 and 99 of them fail, but one of them make up for the 100 that you invested in, that's what angel investing is.
Thank you. Going to Majid, I think going back in time, you were one of the initial investors also in SaravaPars since they started operating. When if we go back in time, we see a lot of improvement. Digital was totally different, a different business 2 years ago. And I think the risk that you took at that time, I would like you to talk about it and tell us more, expand this story. How was the experience? What did you expect? What did you get in return? And how do you think we can increase the access to capital for startups at this stage?
Thank you. When we started the site, going around in Tehran to raise funds for Sarava, we had good experience actually. Now when we look at it, it's funny. We had experiences like we went to someone and the guy said that, why do you want to invest in these companies? I give you money, I give you a building, and you start here. You start here, I'll have some staff here, and you could work it out from the beginning here and make a successful company. I'll invest in you, but not in a fund that will invest in other companies. The truth is that we didn't have that experience of venture capitalism in Tehran. And a lot of credit goes to Said that started this. Of course, it was companies who invested in maybe early stage companies. Seeqnce, perhaps, Kardan was one of the bigger ones. But we didn't have an ecosystem that works well, I guess. And we love business plans. As an investment banker, I love business plans. I like to see a lot of details, how the company is going to operate, what will be the projections for the next 3, even 10 years. And I know how accurate they might be and how they are formulated. We are doing it ourselves. But this is a different game. I don't want to put it as Samara did, that it's like a charity. It is a charity in the best way, but when I look at it, investing in early stage companies, what it gives you, even if you don't get that one billionaire company, it's exposure. It's exposure to a business, exposure to a process, and exposure to young entrepreneurs and their networks. This is what a lot of angel investors really are looking for. And they see in those operations the synergy and the lessons that they could take away to their own businesses. So I think, yes, you shouldn't take a lot of risk. The money that you put on a company should be a fraction of your investments. But the learning and the exposure that you get is valuable, much more than the return that you're looking for. So back to what is the environment in Iran. We are at a time that even our large banks, which are supposed to be very traditional in their investments, are open to venture capitalism. As I said, SaravaPars is one that is doing it actively. Now we have Tejara Bank, which is now investing in early stage projects. So I see a level of maturity in the community, in the financial community. Of course, it's not, we don't have a lot of them, but I think there are opportunities to find even institutional investors, creating some little funds here and there to invest in these companies. So I always say that we do not need foreign capital. We need foreign expertise, we need foreign technology, but we have the fund, at least at this stage that we're talking. If we want to create a petrochemical company, maybe we need foreign funds. But we have the money here. Summer, it's not that we don't need you, but I'm feeling we need your experience here. And in a nutshell, what I want to say is, for myself and other angel investors, when we look at the business, let's look at the people, let's look at what they do, let's look at the exposure and how we could help them. And of course, the joy in seeing the company growing that fast with your participation and help is unmatchable.
Thank you. When I go back in time, about 4 months ago, when we got 20 of our startups in front of angel investors, we had a network of angel investors. And when I see the difference of the teams, the risk absolutely has changed over time when you compare it with 4 months ago. And, a couple of these startups would have not been able to make this progress without the help of their angel investors, who helped them to provide more funding when it was needed. Going to say, because you are one of the person who helped us, put up this angel investors club and defining the processes, and you are always talking about this tsunami of startups coming to Iran. How do you think we can, because these startups without funding, bootstrapping is absolutely a very interesting approach for startups, but we know that to go big, to have a high growth company, you need to have that access. But how do you think that we can, solve this challenge, and what are the, approaches that we can take?
Mohsen, I have no idea.
Great.
Well, we will figure it out. This is a question actually I was talking to Zonia during the break with some of the I was which country people, foreign visitors we had here. That there are many of them actually coming to Iran now. They asked me about a year ago, exactly a year ago, we were pitching to a potential investor in Digicolor, a foreign investor. And they asked us this question, you have a business plan to grow Digicolor from 175 people to 700 in 12 months. And this is crazy. Even, I'm talking about a strategic investor with a lot of experience in this field. And they asked me, how are you going to do this? And my answer was, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And today, Digicolor is 700 people. And it met its financial targets for 1393. My point is, part of this is believing that we can do it. I remember when Mohi was here pitching, or Reza, or many of the startup founders that we have today here, doing these beautiful pitches, and you'll hear the rest of the five. You remember during the selection process, they were kind of confused and missing the point. The idea was not developed, they didn't have a team, and we believed in them. And you believed in them. We could have failed. We might fail in future. But we believe that this person can create a team. And the only thing we actually looked at, and Baha Tehrani he was part of our selection process interviews, and a few others, we only talked about their personalities. Who are they? Where they come from? Why do they want to do this? How determined these teams are to do this? And we only selected the teams into Avatech, if you recall, through the process of trying to establish that we are, same as your experience on you were talking about in Lebanon, we're trying to find the entrepreneurs. So we try to find in some unwritten method and unscientific process, and mostly social skills, that we have picked the right people. And we believed in them. In the first 2 months in Avatech, we tried to focus them on the problem solving. Our focus was make sure the problem that you think exists actually really exists, and the method you want to use to solve that problem is acceptable to the customer, and then establish that the customer is going to buy this from you at some point, even if it's not going to pay for it today. And once they establish, the teams that establish that fact stayed here. First 2 months. We never talked about money, business plans, how many people you're going to be in 1397, whatever. There was no discussion about that. The next 2 months, the 10 teams that they remained, we focused them on sales and marketing concepts. How do you get users on internet, on mobile, and get these users to use your service, and make sure they build their team to the extent they need it so they can create that MVP, minimum viable product. We still did not talk about numbers. And was at that time we were trying to encourage the angel investors to come in, and they were asking for business plans and projections, and we said, we're not going to have any of that for you. You either invest and believe that these guys are going to make it, you like them, and the money is so little that you can forget about it if they don't make it, or just don't do it. Because we're not going to change the approach, right? There's established methods how to do this. In the last 2 months, especially the new year phase, in the last month or so, we focused on business planning, trying to establish their business models, their numbers, projections. When they started that, they were really poor at it, and they practiced at it, and each one of these teams now have a business executive summary that is right here, 7 pages, 6 or 7 pages, and it explains their business to the nth degree that you can really believe they know exactly how they're going to grow this business. And there are projections for 3 years, but I personally don't believe in any of that 3-year projection. My only focus is in the next 6 to 12 months. Because in the next 6 to 12 months, they need to focus on building their team, growing their business, and growing the market, and acquiring those users, and building that business. And the teams who achieve this next 12 months or 18 months, they're going to be the winners, and they have competition, they're going to run against them. And what we help them to understand is how much money they're going to need to raise. How much money they need to raise, our estimate was something, when we did this, was 250 to 750. It is not that off that range, it's about 300 million Toman at 350, maybe $100,000. To the biggest amount ticket that we want to raise, which is about couple of million Toman, which is about $750,000, $800,000, depending on the exchange rate. rate. So they need to raise this money and they need to go out and they need to, with more mentoring, more support and guidance to make it happen. I don't know if I answered your question, but this is a process. This is a process of building trust and believing in the team that you're investing. And that's why we are encouraging. That's why we have invited investors here. So they don't take a huge risk. They can share the risk. That's why if Sarava is investing in this, Sarava likes to have co-investors. It's not about not having money to invest. It's about sharing and finding co-investors. Angel investors, lead angel investors, or co-investors that are even other VCs that they would sit next to us and say, I can help this business because I know more about this one, and I know, I love these guys and I'd like them to succeed. It might be actually at a personal level. So together we can build this experience. The fact is, in Iran, we don't have this culture yet established. We're at the beginning of experiencing, and if we do a few of these experiments of this cycle and the next cycle in a year or two, I'm confident that we break that barrier that both of you guys mentioned, that there would be a level of trust to invest in a new way, which is not based on profit, how much profit I'm going to make in the next few years, it's based on value creation, and it's not about owning the company. We are not going to, our expectation is that these guys raise this money based on a range of valuations, which is going to be around 1 to 3 million to man, about $300,000 to $1 million or so, and a little bit higher, a little bit more, and they wouldn't lose more than 20, 25, maximum 30% of their business at this time, because this is seed funding. And they're going to have to raise Series A, and they're going to raise Series B, and there's a level of expectation we need to build that the founders would not lose their excitement and interest that this is still their own company. And they're going to make it, and we're going to support them.
Thank you. We are just running out of time. Just to quickly wrap it up, Samar, what would be your message to those who are interested to invest at this stage?
So who here knows Elon Musk? I would know everyone, right? Do all the angels know Elon Musk? Okay, so I'm hoping that everyone knows Elon Musk. Fantastic. If Elon Musk came to you and said, I have a new startup, would you invest in me? Okay, fantastic. I think if an angel doesn't invest in Elon Musk, we have a problem. Okay, so
for those who don't know who Elon Musk is, would you just...
Okay, so Elon Musk is the founder of Tesla, of what's the other one? SpaceX? Yeah, SpaceX. Just about every major innovative company that has come out in the last 5 years. Okay, he's the equivalent of Steve Jobs, but Steve Jobs is not with us anymore. The modern day Steve Jobs. But anyway, Elon Musk is a successful entrepreneur. He has credibility. If he comes and says, I have a startup, and you have money to give him, you give him money at whatever valuation he says, okay? Because you're going to make money with it. Now imagine you take one step back from that and you say, if a good angel investor, okay, like Peter Thiel, is investing in a startup, and he said, would you like to co-invest with me, okay? Would you say no? Now Peter Thiel is basically one of the first investors in PayPal, the first investor in Facebook, the first investor in just about every successful startup that's happened in the last 20 years. If Peter Thiel is leading around in a company, would you go invest with Peter Thiel? Yes. Okay. Don't, it's the same concept as the previous one. What I'm trying to get at is people invest in people. People don't invest in companies. If you're investing in companies, you are investing in private equity. And if you're investing in private equity, then you get your 20-year plan, okay, and everything looks rosy, and it doesn't matter if you fire the CEO the next day because the company runs on its own legs. But in startups, you're investing in people. If you're either investing in the startup or you're investing in the angel investor who's leading that round because you trust that that angel investor knows that entrepreneur who knows what he's doing. And as we've heard on this panel, when they were asked how they would take a 175-person company to a 700-person company, and they said, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. It's not that I don't know that but we'll figure it out that made them give you the money. It's the fact that they trust you as entrepreneurs and as investors to take that money and put your best effort and your best capacity to make it happen. And if you fail, at least they will know that you went way beyond what is human, okay, to try to get there. And that's what you are investing in. You're investing in people who will sleep 4 hours a day, eat ramen noodles. I don't know what the equivalent of ramen noodles here is, okay? I slept on the couch of my office for 3 consecutive years, okay, to get my accelerator up and running and to get to where I hope I am today. And I didn't have a social life. Potentially I was miserable, okay, but that's what an entrepreneur does. And that's the exciting bit. If you can find a human being who's willing to do that, give them money, whatever they're doing, okay, as long as it's legal, I hope. Give them money, okay, and they will make an effort that 99% of the world will not make. And hopefully that effort will get you somewhere.
Thank you. Majid, to wrap it up.
I think someone said it all. I just reiterate it. I say that we need a new skill set. I mean, those who have not this experience, we need a new skill set. We don't need business plans, but we have to look at other people's who trust these guys and have the experience. Maybe someone could help you. And look at the people and look at the market. Maybe one of the major criterion that you could use for selecting an investment is that do you know this market well? Can you contribute to the growth of this company? If these are yes, maybe you have the first step to go ahead with that investment.
Appreciate it. As Majid said, 3 years ago, we went around to raise funding for SaravaPars. Few people trusted us, and those people are investors in SaravaPars, and some didn't. They thought it's too risky and etc. We have established a proven record, and we want you guys to co-invest with SaravaPars. We really like to have you as co-investors with SaravaPars. That is the confidence that I personally can give for those who invest. With the understanding that you're taking a high risk, with the understanding that this business and this investment, it is not about short-term return. Typically, an investment of this type, it is about 5 to 7 years investment. In Iran, I say 3 to 5 years because people say 7 years, you know, it's just infinity. It is 3 to 5 years return. And take the risk, do it. And do it at a level that you're comfortable with. A level that if it doesn't work, it's okay. We are also, actually, one of the ideas we are exploring is, if depending on the interest, on the investments, on the companies that are graduating, we're considering to raise a fund. If the investors would like to share some of the risk and actually take the approach of being able to invest not in 1 or 2, but in all 10 or 100 or 20 or 30 over time. And we're also kind of considering that option, and we'll see how your interest will develop in the next couple of weeks. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Round of applause for our guest.